1480 WHBC, our Sarchione Ford Player of the Week for week number 5. Hoover running back Drew Robinson. I'm looking at the numbers here, Drew. Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you very much.
41 carries, 219 yards, and a touchdown. Another grab for 12 yards to score. 2 kickoff returns, 53 yards, almost 300 yards of total offense. That's why you're our Sarchione Ford Player of the Week. Were you able to get out of bed on Saturday morning is my first question for you.
You know what? That was my first question as well, was how I was nervous. The next morning I was going to be super sore, want to sleep in or something. But actually, no, I was up and ready to go. Got my lap in before we watched film Saturday morning, and I was feeling refreshed. I was feeling good and still had some energy going from Friday night.
That's great. Must have been, that adrenaline from the night before. A big win over Lake, 17-14. You improved to 3-2 on the year in your senior season. 2 wins in a row. We had you the week before against Louisville. You had a huge game that game as well. Those 2 games, was the game plan going in to feature you, and were you to be featured that much, I guess, against Lake?
I wasn't expecting it, and I think going into it, we were just going to take what we got, and then, go into halftime, see what we were nailing them with, and then we'll use that in the second half for both those games, actually. And in the second half, I had some talks with some of my offensive coaches, and they told me I was going to get the majority of the load, but I sure wasn't expecting 41 carries in the Lake game, but I love football and I love the position at running back, so I was very glad to do it.
So while it's happening, Drew, did you know how many carries you had? Like, come the end of the game, did you know you were at 41?
I had no idea, no clue.
So the training to be able to handle that workload, I've got to believe Coach Baum and all the other coaches in the offseason during this crazy COVID situation we're all living through, right? That had to play a factor in helping you get through that game with 41 carries. So tell us a little bit about what you did to prepare yourself for a game like that.
Of course. Well, of course, in the preseason, we only had camp. We only had the 2 days, and even those were semi-limited. We didn't have those actual scrimmages or those preseason games to get us in the mindset or in the physical shape to play 4 quarters of football. But some of my friends and I, we would go up to the Canton Monument, and we'd run the stairs there. We'd just go out in any field, get some sprints in, get some long distance in. That was just before the season. As the season actually came, we would get a lot of conditioning during practice, after practice, and having these games now and being able to see what it's actually like, I think we're all ready to play 4-quarter football.
Yeah, you obviously did, man. 41 carries, 219, a huge win over Lake, 2 wins in a row, like I said, as you head into your big rivalry matchup, and we'll get to that here in a second against Jackson. I'm curious, though, for you, I know you'd love to be 5-0 and Federal League champs, but you're still 3-2, and you got to play football your senior year. How important was that? Like I said, with this pandemic, that we're living through, that you're just able to play football your senior year.
That's the most important thing to me, and not only me, to every single other person on the team. I also play lacrosse, and I was shorted out of lacrosse season. That really, going home every day, not having something to look forward to at the end of the day, other than just doing schoolwork, sitting at home. That really takes a toll on you. So even just being able to go out there and practice with my brothers and play with them, and then let alone have whether it's a shortened season or a full season, I'll take anything. As long as I'm out there having fun, playing with my friends, it's I'll take it any day of the week. So.
He is our Sarchione Ford Player of the Week for week number 5, senior running back Drew Robinson from Hoover High School. A huge win over Lake, 17-14. Again, he almost touched the ball 50 times between catching, running, and kick returns. The big game this week, though, we're doing it. It's that big. Friday night. It's our Sarchione Ford radio game of the week. Your rivalry. We know about Saturday, and it's McKinley and Massillon, but this is huge. Hoover at Jackson. How big? Put into words how big this game is to Vikings players.
Oh, you throw all records, all past scores out the window. It comes down to who has more heart, and it comes down to who executes perfectly, play by play by play. And I mean, it's more than just a football game at this point. I mean, it's a rivalry that comes from all sports and merges into one, and football gets the most notoriety for it. So that's why there's a whole lot of hype around that, and every single person on the team, from freshmen to seniors, we're amped for this one. So we can't wait.
I know it's huge for you, but how, I guess, I don't want to say comforting, but how nice is it to know that regardless of what happens, and I know you want to win, and that would put the icing on the cake for the regular season, but either way, you're making the playoffs this year with that rule that the OHSAA has put into place. How nice is it to know that at least there's one more game after this?
It's a really good feeling. It's kind of weird because I mean, I've never experienced playoff football, so usually you get prepared for Jackson Week, like it's the last game, and then football season's over. But
Right.
It's just really nice to have another week and another week to look forward to, and really not have an end, like a definite end to the season. So it kind of serves as good motivation. It's like play this week as hard as you can, whatever you have, take it in the next week, and then keep playing as hard as you can, and hopefully the end result is deep run the playoffs or even a state championship.
That's the ultimate goal, and you guys are getting better each week. And there were games early in the season when you guys were right there. You're knocking on the door against some good teams, and you came up short. What's the difference with this team now? Connor Ashby gets a lot of the pub, and deservedly so, as your quarterback is unbelievable throwing the football, but you're complementing that passing game now with the running game, and that offensive line that may have been a little bit inexperienced at the beginning of the season, they seem to be coming together. So what's the difference in this team now from the beginning of the season?
Well, the question mark even before the season happened was our offensive line, and I mean everyone has believed in them from Hoover, from Hoover football. But once they played a couple hard games, everyone started to see, and I mean they've really proved themselves week in and week out. Whether it's against Glen Oak, Perry McKinley, and I mean I think they've done extremely well, and I mean they've protected my life, Connor's life, and they're doing a very good job at it. So all props go to them for sure.
Tell us a little bit about Brian Baum and the job that he has done now that he's entrenched as your head coach. His fingerprints are all over the program. What's he mean to the Viking program right now and to you?
Of course. The whole culture that he brings to the team is it's amazing. I mean, we like during all the COVID stuff in the summer when we were going into the weight room, even just getting a lift in, he kept enforcing it to us, treat it as if this is going to be the last time you guys are together, because no one really knows. And I mean, we've kind of had that mindset for every practice, every game, as if it's our last one. And it's kind of just like we've developed a sort of why as to like why we're there, why we're playing, why we're spending all the time, devoting all the time to going to practice, playing games. And overall, just the culture has been, it's been very well. It's been very.
I've heard that before. What's your why? Why are you there? Why is it important? What's it mean to you? And obviously, as you've talked about it with your brothers, especially the seniors for this year, very important. You get a playoff game. But I want to go back to Friday night again. Our Sarchione Ford radio game of the week is Hoover at Jackson, and we're with our Sarchione Ford player of the week, Drew Robinson from Hoover. What's it going to take for you guys to end the regular season with a win over your rival and prepare you for the playoffs?
We had some mental lapses in our last game against Lake. We had a drive where we had 3 or 4 penalties, I think. And I think just getting rid of all those small mistakes and getting all the little details right, I think if we execute all that well, then we can end up with a win in that game. And it's definitely possible. And it's we're all very excited for this one. We're very antsy at practice this week.
I bet. Yeah, you're looking forward to that Friday Night Lights game at Jackson. Have you noticed a difference as a player with only so many fans allowed in the games? Does that even play a factor, or you're so zoned in you don't know if there's 5,000 people or 1,000 people there?
So most of the time I'm so zoned in, or you just don't even realize it. Like you can maybe you'll hear one odd fan screaming every once in a while, but most of the time, unless you're looking up in the stands, you don't know. I mean, you hear your coaches, you hear your players on the field, and that's about it. You don't really hear much else than that. So
we're looking forward to the game Friday night. And by the way, just so you know, as our Sarchione Ford Player of the Week, you win a $150 gift certificate to the Pro Football Hall of Fame team shop to spend any way you want. So that's pretty sweet. Who's your favorite team, or do you have a favorite player or a favorite former player that maybe you go get some gear on?
Of course, I got to rep the Brownies. I've loved them since my dad started getting me to watch the Browns, and I've liked them ever since. All
right.
Go Browns.
Go get your Browns gear. They're 2-1. They're off to a good start, so that's a positive. And also, besides the gift certificate to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Sarchione Ford also donating $150 in your name to Hoover High School as well. So congratulations on the effort. 41 carries, 219 yards, a touchdown, another grab for a score, kickoff returns. Drew Robinson, thanks so much for joining us. Best of luck this week, Friday night against Jackson, and I'll see you on the sidelines, all right?
Thank you very much for having me. Really appreciate it.
All right, back with more right after this on WHBC.